Is it possible for someone who's undocumented here in the United States to get papers? And the answer is that it is going to depend, guys. Getting papers is not that easy, and it is not as simple as just getting in line and submitting an application. First and foremost, any single time you file an immigration application, you have to show what you are eligible for. So if you don't have a family relationship to sponsor you, but you're here in the United States, you're undocumented, here are the top 3 ways that you might be able to get your paperwork fixed. Well, number 1 is asylum. You have to show that you're afraid of returning to your country for a very particular reason that falls underneath asylum law. Number 2, the second most common way for people to get status in the US when they're undocumented and have no family to sponsor them is going to be through the U visa. Now, a lot of people in the United States, unfortunately, can be the victim of crime, and most especially if you are an undocumented immigrant, you might be more susceptible to crime because you might be working in industries that have high rates of violence or robbery, or you might be in a domestic violence situation. And if you have been the victim of a serious crime and you reported it to police and the police have signed off on a certification for you, then you may have the ability to file for a new visa. Now, not everyone has been able to go to the police because the reality is that when you're undocumented, you may be afraid to report the violence that you've suffered. And if that's the case, then something that not a lot of lawyers have looked at, but something that we look at in almost every single case is the T visa. And a lot more people are eligible for the T visa than they might realize. And the T visa is going to be the situation where you have essentially worked for somebody who threatened you, who was racist to you, who didn't pay you, who threatened you with immigration, who made you false promises, who basically got you to work without really your consent or your free will. What are some examples? Well, if you start working for somebody at a restaurant and then all of a sudden the manager or the owner starts telling you that, hey, you better stay 5 hours late and you better come in tomorrow morning at 6 to open, even though it's your day off. Otherwise, I'm going to call immigration on you. So you're not really showing up at 6 a.m. or staying 5 hours late because you want to, but because you're afraid of the consequences that you're going to suffer if you don't. And if that has happened to you, please give us a call, 212-248-7907. We would love to see if we can help.